Shocking events. Here's what I'm doing while the crypto markets are tanking. All right, guys, so we got some major world events, if you didn't notice, in the Middle East, and things are starting to happen there. It's a bit nerve-wracking, but this is what we're dealing with. And I did talk about in my solar eclipse video about the potential of WAR and how that can escalate with all of this Aries energy. And we're going to talk about the astrology today as well as the crypto markets. I'm just going to share what I'm doing. I cannot give you guys financial advice. None of this content is financial or investment advice. This is intended for entertainment and educational purposes. All right, guys. Well, welcome to the crypto universe here. Things have dumped quite a bit. I'm pretty tired as I've been up for the last like 4 hours, just kind of eyeing the markets here. Now, I wanted to just share a little bit what I'm doing as well as the astrology. So we did get another dump here. We got a dump yesterday. Made a video about that. We got another dump here. We are attempting to build our way back up slowly but surely. However, it does not guarantee that we're not going to see another dump. It's certainly possible. I also want to say, once again, just remind you guys that I don't have all the answers. I'm not a savior. And so you guys got to make your own decisions. And hope that's self-explanatory, but I can just share what I'm doing. And so we're hanging out right here, Bitcoin at 63,773. It's very, very important, guys, to have a plan for when things go south in the crypto markets. Whether you are just a buy and hodl type of person, that's great if that works for you, or if you have quite a lot invested in this and it's a bit too risky and you need some cash for your daily life, then it'd be a smart idea to make a plan for what to do if you do need cash. And I'll tell you some of the things that I do that help to lower the risks, and so I can sleep at night, and so that I can pay for the bills, take care of the family, and all that, even when crazy stuff starts happening. Now, rule number one, is pretty much the standard, is to always have enough cash to pay your living expenses, ideally for a year, 6 months to a year or longer. Because we could see major shifts in the world that make it so that we need to be able to get food and water and to care for ourselves. So I don't want to go into doom and gloom today. I just want to kind of share a bit about what I'm doing and then look at the astrology. So the astrology, I did talk about the Mars-Saturn conjunction that we had a couple days ago, and I was very cautious. I was concerned about this. Now the interesting thing here, I was expecting it to happen around April 10th. However, astrology can be give or take a week or even 2 weeks. And even the eclipses can last up to 3 weeks before or after the eclipses. So we are still in effect of, this solar eclipse, and it was within all of this Aries energy. It was conjunct Chiron, which is it's the wounded healer. It's in the sign of Aries, which, the god of war. So not good energy in terms of, having a very peaceful world. But this is temporary. Things are starting to escalate potentially in the Middle East. Unfortunately, let's everybody do some prayers. Pray for the best possible outcome there. Pray for peace. Pray for solutions to happen as quickly as possible. and for the victims to be, you know, saved and brought back to their families. So this energy is still in effect right now, and so we're seeing that. And we're seeing it a bit late, and this is probably largely due to Mercury retrograde. So Mercury has been retrograde for the past couple weeks, and typically that causes delays. And so we are seeing after the eclipse, you know, a bit of delay with these world events that are happening. Now, caution, because this could last to April 25th and even beyond that, because if we look at Mercury retrograde here, when did it start retrograde? It started, I believe, on the... earlier than I thought. Let's see here. Started March 31st. And it was at 27 degrees when it started. Now, how long is it going to take to get back to 27 degrees when we can really start to move forward again? May 13th. So we might even have until May 13th before things really start to move forward again. But first, we got to deal with all of these potential world events. And let's take a little bit of a closer look. But also, another thing is this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which is, and Uranus is the wild card, and Jupiter is expanding that. Typically with Uranus, it's like surprising events, unexpected twists and turns, and so we're potentially seeing that right now. You know, a lot of people weren't necessarily expecting this to happen at this time. You know, it's been a little bit delayed. I don't think many people were expecting a dump like this. It kind of came out of left field. Well, in fact, some people, you know, I actually have been expecting a dump for the last 2 months, but it just happened very, very, very delayed here. Now, you know, the reason I've been expecting a dump for such a long time now is just because we've gotten these crazy moves up here. And, you know, if we look at this, this potentially looks a little top heavy. So a bit of a warning is that there is a possibility that we could dump more. And it is definitely possible for us to even continue a healthy bull run, even if we did this. I'm not saying this is guaranteed to happen, but even if we went down to around 50,000 and we start heading back up, it might take a while for us to head back up again, but a bull market could still be intact, because we have seen this happen time and time and again in you know, bull markets of the past, where we get healthy corrections that are scary. You know, this correction was 30% right there. That was in 2021. But even if we go back to, you know, 2016, we've gotten corrections that all the way like 37%, as well as these corrections. This one was 34%. So that is typical for crypto, typical for Bitcoin. I know it can be frightening. Let's see how far we've corrected so far. 17%. So if we went like 35%, we could probably do 34%, 33%. That would bring us down to 49. I think we could even hit 48. I think it's possible if we do this kind of correction. All right, so that would potentially even be normal, you know, based on historically, like I just showed you. Be a normal correction in a bull market that we've seen many times before in the history of Bitcoin. Now, Solana is one of the strongest altcoins. And in all transparency, I bought some Solana. I'm not saying that it could go down further because I'm actually I also have a strategy for if it goes down further. And it's important for us to be prepared for all scenarios. All right, so if it does go down further, what would be our game plan for that? If it goes down here, it's possible. All right, I'm not saying it's guaranteed, it's possible. Now, this is very, very interesting because I made a video the other day about the Solana astrology, and this has been very on point here. Don't mean to toot my own horn, but I just gotta, share what I saw with the astrology. And I made a video about this. Look at my previous Solana video last week, 7 days ago, I believe. Talked about this Neptune conjunct the Solana Mercury, and I was saying this is bearish. And so I was saying, I think this is a good buying opportunity. I'm planning to buy around mid-April because I think we could see a dump here for Solana. And that is what we are getting here, guys. I warned you. The good news is Solana is, one of the strongest cryptos, and this could be. I'm not going to give you guys financial advice, but I bought a little bit. I'm nibbling here. If we look at the total market cap, this fell recently 20%. I don't think we want to get a weekly close below this level to 2.14 trillion. That might be a bit more bearish. But who knows, guys? This is pretty much a black swan event. When we saw COVID happen, that scared everybody. And we were still able to recover out of that. We dropped. How far of a drop was COVID? Black swan event for the crypto market. 64% drop, and we recovered from that. That was the best. It was like a generational wealth buying opportunity there. So these black swans are terrifying, but they can also be, for me, they can be when I would want to buy. Because we want to buy when everybody's fearful and sell when everybody's euphoric. Now, if we look at the altcoins, they're falling more than the total market cap, which is very normal. We are getting, this is actually a pretty healthy correction. We've gone down 28% so far, because if we look back historically what the altcoins dumped in a bull market, we saw dumps like this. Wow, that was even more, 35%. All right, so very, very typical for the altcoins to drop 35%. And then I would want to buy that opportunity. So we've only gone 28%. There could be a little bit more. It's possible, but not guaranteed. All right, guys, I'm not going to tell you what to do today. This is like, well, I'm never going to tell you what to do. This is potentially a black swan event here that may or may not escalate. It looks like, let's take a look at the news, the updates here. 4 new updates. Mitch McConnell calls for Congress to take action on supplemental bill that includes aid for Israel and Ukraine. Oh my God. Iran launches drones towards Israel. All right, so intercepted outside Israel's borders, spokesperson said. All right, so this is kind of what's happening right now in Iran. All right, but I'm not going to go too much into the news because that's not exactly what this channel is about. But, do your own research. Take a look at what's going on in the news here as it is affecting markets currently. One potential good news is that the daily exchange volume, I just talked about this in the video yesterday, and how it's important for us to start to head upwards again. We are now starting to get a pump upwards with the exchange volume. And that, it could be a fake out, all right? So don't just assume that we're going to pump up. But that's potentially a little bit bullish, because if we continue heading up, if that's not a fake out, and we continue heading up like we did back in February, like I said in my last video, this is when the price action started going up for Bitcoin and crypto. And then here's the liquidations that have happened in the 24 hours. Let's give a silent prayer for those who lost money in the last 24 hours, because it's a total of 966 million liquidations in crypto. Okay, pray for everyone to find peace during these moments of a little bit of chaos. Fed funds rates, looks like they still they're still projected to, let me reload the page. Looks like they're still projected on May 1st to continue to pause rates. If we can load this page. One thing that was very surprising is the fear and greed index is still greed. That's actually very, 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 very surprising. And this, I consider this a red flag, because typically when we are dumping, typically the markets go into fear, and then it's a good buying opportunity, because I want to buy when the masses are fearful. That's just kind of, sounds a little bit messed up, but that's just kind of how investing works, unfortunately. In this day and age, maybe someday we'll get to an economy where everybody can profit and everyone can be happy at the same time. That would be amazing. But currently we still live in this kind of Darwinian type investing environment where you want to buy when everyone's fearful. People are still greedy. So that's kind of a red flag. That's strange, I gotta say. All right, still probabilities are that the Fed is gonna continue to pause in May and potentially in June. Very interesting. But like I was saying, I don't know if I've ever seen a dump this far and the markets are still greedy. That is very strange. So here's what I'm doing. This is not financial advice. It's just in sharing what I'm doing. I did buy some Solana in the 120s. I'm actually not certain that we aren't going to see another dump. Whoops. So I'm also mentally preparing that we might even head down further if things escalate in the Middle East. You know, Biden's going to have an announcement today. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go to a birthday party today. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to keep my eye on the market super close today, potentially. Well, I'll have my phone. But I'm personally preparing for all scenarios. So what I did today is I sold the most risky altcoins, the ones that have not been doing well. I sold those coins. And so I basically, you know, looked at the right here at, you know, which coins dropped the most percentage. And I sold many of my altcoins that dropped, you know, more than like 18%, just to de-risk. All right, because I don't need a lot of risk right now. Just with all this craziness, I just need to be able to relax a little bit and have some cash on hand for, you know, the case that we go lower. And then, you know, Bitcoin's still teetering down here. It's looking fairly weak. We still haven't bounced up into a stronger position. You know, being in a stronger position, we would be above like 67,000 around there. But we're still haven't recovered from this dump, in my opinion. All right. So that's what I'm doing. Let's see if we have any questions here. A whole month of this. Okay. Yeah. Alex, I feel you. I feel your pain. I feel your pain. It's not guaranteed, but I'm personally just mentally preparing for that we could have a month of sideways action or possibly further dumps if we get more kind of black swan events here. All right, so just wanted to pop on with you guys to share that. Just wanted to be supportive. You know, once again, we have that Mercury retrograde until April 25th. But then it's not coming out of shadow until I was saying about May 13th. So if we go through here, Mercury does not get back to out of, oh yeah, about May 3rd, something around May 13th, around there, yeah. Okay, and then we also have Jupiter's and Uranus that are going to square Neptune at the end of April, heading into May. Take a look at my previous videos where I talk about that. So it's important for us to be prepared for all scenarios. So if you haven't done so already, write down a strategy for each scenario. Write down a strategy for what you're going to do. You know, today, if markets continue to dump, what would be an optimal strategy for you? Just hold it, or would you want to sell like 25%, or sell 50%, or even sell, you know, all of your weak altcoins? And then what's your strategy for if things continue upwards? Are you gonna buy back in, or are you just gonna continue to hold and just wait for the next dump later on? It's important, very important to be clear with that. All right, anyways, hope this was helpful. It's a little bit all over the place. There's a lot going on right now, a lot of, you know, potentially crazy world events. So hope you guys are doing well. Hope you are finding a state of inner peace as best as you can. And yeah, finding that. And whether you want to meditate or go for a walk, definitely a good time to do that. Because, yeah, looks like things are getting a little crazy out there. Hopefully things calm down. It's possible. But best of luck to you all. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.